All right, we'll be getting started shortly here. Scrapping everything. Okay, so when we left off, we were able to get a show of users and even show a detailed view of a single user. All right, still ugly, still no CSS or anything, but we'll get to that in some future thing. Today, the goal was to, in a user detail, kind of associate to-dos with a user, meaning that, when we create a whole bunch of to-dos, like we had this to-dos page here, for example, to-do, was it to-dos or to-do? Here, this is just 3 to-dos that we kind of manually created in the database. Connect, stream, on stream, it was hello web dev. When we had these 3 to-dos, do we have, am I in the right place? Here, let's see, let me take a look at my to-dos. Did we not make, okay, yeah, so here, so we were just drawing to-dos, right? We didn't actually have any programmatic, or we didn't hook up to-dos to the database at all. So today we're gonna start associating things somehow, some way. So we've got the echo documentation. Looks like that's where we left off according to my history, Safari history. So we're going to get back in there. Now let's start with, I guess we're going to start with doing the migration, right? So we are in the ecto guide, right? Schema people. And we defined it. So let's review how we did this with users, just to make sure. The old code, you're right, is always a great look. Lib user. All right. So the naming convention here is interesting. They've got hello web, right, which is kind of like business logic and stuff that's independent, and then hello web underbar web, right, which is kind of like the website interface, right? Now, I've unfortunately named hello web, meaning that we've got this web, which doesn't help anything. So I'm probably going to want to do something about that soon-ish. But for now, I'm just going to deal with it and whatnot. So it looks like creating the schema. We actually start with a mix command, right? And if we check our notes, we should have a note of that in echo. Create edit new ex file if necessary, then use ecto migrate. All right, so we're going to do one here. Why is that massive? Format body. All right. We don't want user and users. We want to do and to dos. Name string. They don't have names and strings, right? We're going to give our to-dos, do they have titles or names? We're going to give them titles. Title. And then we're going to give, let's see, email. To-dos don't have email. We're going to, I don't know if we need it or not, we're going to give them descriptions. Description. We may or may not use that. We definitely need an image, a Boolean, right? Now I don't know if it's bool or Boolean, so we're just going to guess for now. And we'll just call it, if it's done, so it's a Boolean. And if it's true, it's done. If it's false, it's not done. So the defaults should work for us. We want everything to default to not done. All right, so we're going to go in here and let's just do our thing. Let's see if this works. So it created to-do-ex for us. It created a migration file, and we have to migrate. So here's to-do-ex. Looks like Boolean was a good guess. Default is false. All right. Now let's migrate. Oh, to-dos have to have a user. So how do we do many to one? I suppose I should do that. So if we check our database, here's a to-do thing. All right, so that's there. So now what I want to do is I actually want to undo this. Getting started. Testing with Echo. Is there modules on migrate? Schema. Mix ecto functions. Let's check. So we did a migrate. Is mix different? All right, maybe this is not what I think it is. Echo top query repositories. Oh, maybe mix tasks is what I'm looking for. Mix ecto. I guess I can just do it in here and see what this spits out. Creates a new migration, creates a new repository, load, migrations, reset, rollback. Rolls back the repository migration. So let's roll back one here. Oops, mix ecto rollback. Look at this, we learned a new command. We're going to write that one down. Mix ecto rollback to undo the migration. Did it work? Now let's see here. We go back. We should not see this to-do thing. When I refresh it, sure enough, it goes away when I hit the refresh button. So, all right, so that worked. Now we know how to undo a migration. Now what I forgot here in the migrate area is, in my migrate command, is the many to many. So how do I associate a to-do with a user? Excuse me, many to one. So each to-do should connect to a user, but each user can only have its own to-dos. We're not going to do shared to-dos yet, so we're just going to keep it simple for now. So given where we are with the state of the guide, right? When I look at this guide, I don't see anything about many to one, right? I can't even search for it. Many to one. Wrong one. Nothing. Just many to anything. Many, has many, embeds many, many to many, has many. This is interesting. How do I do this? Okay, so it sounds like they're using something called associations, possibly. Right, so it's not necessarily a thing. So, polymorphic associations. That means they're associating users with to-dos. It sounds like the terminology there. So getting started. Wow, this getting started is pretty thin, isn't it? Our first queries, updating records. There's not much here. Let's see if we can find anything on associations in the guide. Schemas. There's nothing there. All right. So we're going to go to Google instead, or search engine of choice, whatever that may be. So let's try ecto many to one, or we'll do the has many after that. Oh, look at this. This is interesting. Ecto Associations Guide. Where did this come from? Well, this is an older. So the Ecto we were looking at is 355. So we're in the 2.1. So this is much, much older. So this is not going to be super great for us, but let's see if we can't. Oh, what is this? If we can't get just a peek at what used to happen, because sometimes they don't always. Ecto, gen migration, avatar belongs to user. Okay, so I think I saw a gen migration operation here. Is it different from what I did? Gen schema. I did a gen schema. What's the difference between gen schema and gen migration? We're gonna write that down because they are different things. That's a new question for us. Mix. Oops, what's going on here? Come on. Notes.app, you're embarrassing me in front of all my friends. Mix ecto dot. No. Mix Phoenix dot gen dot schema versus gen dot migration. Migration. Am I spelling migration right? I think so. All right, so we're going to come back to that. Now, let's see here. So, alias ecto association. All right, so we're going to do one to many, because one user should have many to-dos. Let's assume we have two user. This is pretty close. Remember, we're still in the 2.2, so it's not what we want. But let's keep this for now. So, create post. I guess we can try this for now. This is pretty close to what we want to do. Create to-do. And following schema, post.x. All right, well, let's get rid of this to-do here. Actually, you know what? All right. I wonder if migration. This. Migrations. This is, it already created the migration. Create schema creates the migration for us. So I think we don't have to do this, right? Because this looks like we already did create to-dos and with the appropriate fields and stuff like that. So let's keep going. Now we want to associate the user with the post and vice versa. Actually, real quick, I just want to see if this is this. Gen dot, oh no, it's Phoenix dot gen dot schema versus Phoenix dot gen dot migration. Let's see if search engine has anything for us. Generates an ecto schema and migration. Whereas this is a really, wait, is this a recent Phoenix? That's a recent Phoenix. Okay, so schema generates an ecto schema and migration. Whereas what was the one I was looking at just now? Oh no, I closed it on accident. Okay, so this is the older code, ectogen. Okay, so this is ectogen migration. So that's what I'm doing. That's the difference. One is a Phoenix command and the other is an ecto command. So I even had my question wrong. So ectogen migration. Create to do. So this one is a Phoenix mix task. The other is a ecto mix task. Mix Phoenix Gen schema. Oh, this even has types. Look at this. This tells me the types. I don't have to guess if it's Boolean or anything else. I can just look up this thing here. So where am I? This is handy. I'm going to write this one down. Here's a list of types. Now if I go to ecto create gen repo, I guess gen migration is not a thing. So gen migration is only in the old documentation, so that's why. So let's mark that down. So let's just get rid of this. Other than mix of ectos is a deprecated ecto mix task. All right, well there we go. 2.x. We have an answer. We are smarter about migrations now. Okay, so we did the equivalent of that. Of that. So that's one mystery solved. Now, one user's many posts, one post belongs to many. So this is the exact kind of association we want, the one-to-many. Post belongs to user. Okay, now, does the modern mix have an equivalent of this? Ecto create. Executed once. Oh, so this is just repo level options. Gen repo. Okay, so it sounds like most of the ecto stuff. Let's do mix ecto. Most of the ecto mix tasks runs per. Okay, these look familiar. Oh, I was just looking at those. So how is that different from mix Phoenix? So these are interesting commands, right? Is there a mix section I have? Mix build tool. Usually you can do mix dot to style to mix XYZ to see all mix tasks in a given library slash, I don't know, tool. Mix.phoenix, mix.ecto, etc. Look at that, we are smarter again. Okay, all kinds of good stuff here. So we got a lot of generation, Phoenix generation commands, create the generation, stuff like that. Oh look, we have secrets and everything. That's happy. We can new ecto project, routes, server, we know those. We know some of these. So, okay, so I feel like we're getting closer. Now, the way they do it here is with a migration, right? Alter table post add user ID references users. The post we have a belongs to active association dot user. This is old documentation, so I don't know if I'm super happy with just trying this out, but it is better than what we have now. Let's see if Google's got anything better for us. So I don't need this. I think we're done with that. Elixir line. That's the Elixir language documentation. Questions about, I don't know what's going on. We're going to go somewhere else. So we're just going to go back to ecto many to one. Ecto schema. All right. Well, this is already promising. This is in the modern one. This is in the modern. I say modern. It's the latest version. Schema has many. Oh, well, look at this. This might be exactly what we want. So user has many posts, post. Is that it? This is much easier than the old documentation, if it works. So do I have to do a migration is the question, if I'm changing the user field. I guess let's try it. Mix ecto gen migration. Oops, need a name. Associate users and to-dos. Oh. We'll just do this. User has many to-dos. All right, user has many to-dos. So the change is going to be, we have to change the user thingy here. Boom. Oh wait, did I forget to add timestamps to the other one? I did forget to add timestamps. I love timestamps on our to-dos. Oh no, they're there. We're good. Never mind. So has many to-dos and to-do. All right. Hello web to-do. To-do. All right. Is that what we think is going to work? Ecto schema. All right. So we're just going to try this, and then we're going to do something in our migration here. Now that's where this looked useful. Alter table post, do add reference. Do I need a belongs to and a has many? Probably. Alter table to do's, add user ID, references, users. Okay, we're going to try that. A little bit of copy and paste experimentation here. And the other thing in our to do, it looks like we need to do a belongs to. This is, where was I? There it is. So has many, sign up, profile belongs to, account, to field. I guess we'll try a belongs to over here. So instead of belongs to user, user. Now we're not importing or using anything here, especially for this guy here, so I wonder if that's going to get us in any trouble, but we'll just try it out and just see how this works. So we'll get that guy, we'll run the mix server. Oh, it might have just worked. Nope. Pending migrations. We forgot to run mix migrate. Okay. Mix ecto migrate. Okay, let's try this again. All right, well that seemed to work. Now let's check our database structure. Sure enough, there's the to-dos there that we saw. There's the users. And users didn't change, but that's normal for a has many or belongs to. But what we have here is ID, title, description, done, inserted at, and the user ID after the timestamps, because this was added as a migration. Okay. I like it. I think that makes sense to me. I always like my timestamp at the end, and so it feels a little unhappy, but it's all right. We're going to deal with it. So now we've got to-do items in our database associated with user, hypothetically associated with user IDs, right? So we've done the ecto work. And we're coming up on our half hour here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a sock in it for now. We're just going to hold off for now. And we'll come back and programmatically create to-dos, either through the web app or through the code somehow. Create to-do items that are associated with a user. We'll come back to that in a little bit. So it looks like we did okay here so far, at least getting the database set up to persist all of our to-dos that we want to do, rather than hard coding for arbitrary to-dos that don't actually mean anything. Okay, thank you everyone very much. I appreciate you checking this out, and I'm looking forward to getting more progress with this next time. Enjoy.